The funny thing is, a lot of folks out there still believe the so-called Navy Fed midnight hack. This is just baloney. All right. In today's conversation, I want to give you top 5 hacks that work no matter what. Top 5 actual hacks, proven hacks when it comes to Navy Fed credit limit increases. Don't go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it. Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic, because I'm doing marvelous. If you were to ask me, if you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about Navy Fed credit limit increases. We have the top 5 hacks that work no matter what. Before I get into the actual nitty-gritty, please, I want to address an important topic. The so-called NFCU midnight hack is a big myth. Right off the bat, I want to say it. There is no such a thing as a Navy Fed midnight hack. This is baloney. We've done extensive research about this topic, have spoken to countless NFCU insiders, and we have advised clients of ours who got approved for it and currently are using Navy Fed credit cards, both personal and business. I know we might get a lot of flack for saying this because our position destroys some people's bread and butter here on YouTube and other social media. We're not naming names here, but again, we have solid data to back up every single thing we are saying. If you just tap NFCU midnight hack in the YouTube search bar, guess what? You would get a constellation of results, and you can see what I'm referring to. The so-called hack or trick is nothing but a rumor that spread through social media and YouTube particularly. Apparently, you should apply between midnight and 3 a.m. Eastern because that's when the NFCU credit team goes home. That's just, it's crazy. Countless individuals have tried this without success. It's not like NFCU is asleep at the wheel during non-business hours for processing applications. This would apply to all institutions that receive applications after business hours, right? So upholding this myth as truth is really bad because it gives false hopes to millions of borrowers. It improperly paints Navy Fed, one of the nation's most prestigious financial institutions, as a low-grade credit union that hasn't done the right homework when it comes to having the right technology and processes to manage credit risk. It also shows that even if there were actually such a thing as a midnight hack, that NFCU during all those years had been unable to fix the hack since the hack was supposedly discovered. So this is just baloney. It does not exist, okay? So to close this chapter, the hack does not exist, and you can't take a few successful cases of midnight hacking, so-called midnight hacking, here and there and generalize it. It doesn't make sense. How Navy Fed credit limit increases work. You request a credit limit because you want extra cash, and it's automatically approved. This will result in a soft pull, and you should be able to request another increase and be approved without causing a hard pull. That's scenario 1. You request a credit limit and NFCU will give you a lower limit, or you request a credit limit and they reject it. And there are reasons for rejections. Either your Navy Fed account is too new, there has recently been a change to the credit line on this account, delinquent past or present credit obligations with others, you have income that is insufficient for amount of credit requested, you have excessive credit obligations or excessive credit obligations in relation to your income. I'll talk about that later on when I speak about the DTI. One thing that's very important to know is that before we speak about the hacks, you got to know a few things before asking for a credit limit increase at Navy Fed, okay? Pay attention to your credit utilization and your overall credit health. I'm speaking here about your debt to income ratio, the proportion of a debt that you have versus your income. For example, if you're making 10 grand, let's say you're pulling in $10,000 every month, and your debt service is about 3,500. So when you divide 3,500 by 10,000, you have 35%. Navy Fed loves to have a DTI ratio that is at 35% or lower. So the lower the better, okay? So you want to really pay attention to that. So when we speak about credit utilization versus DTI, those are sort of related. Credit utilization means that they have given you $10,000 and you have used up to $8,000, for example. That will be a CUR, a credit utilization ratio of 80%. You don't want that. You want to be around a nice ballpark of 50 to 60%. Okay, and you have to really understand that if you want to increase your credit limits, there are certain factors that go in your direction. For example, if your credit has improved, if you want your credit to improve, and if you want to buy a big ticket item, I'll speak about that later on. And one thing you need to also know here is that there are a few items that NFCU takes into consideration before approving a credit limit increase. So they look at the account age and standing. Of course, that makes sense, right? They look at the time since the last increase request. This is why we always say you want to avoid asking frequently. You want to space out your request. They look at your annual income, your employment status, your payment history. Okay, and the cool thing here is that Navy Fed allows you, if you're currently a member, they allow you to actually monitor your FICO. Okay, so you can see when it's the best time for you. And one thing I also want to say here is that if you are in doubt, if you have any question, please give them a call. They're there to help you. You want to call 1-888-842-6328. You want to call customer service and have a conversation. Ask them if this is the right time. Instead of risking a hard pull for nothing, you want to first talk to a representative that can school you in the intricacies of Navy Fed credit limit increases. That way, when you are ready to apply, you have all the info you need to make a proper decision. Now, let's talk about the top 5 hacks for an NFCU credit limit increase no matter what. The first hack, very important. I want you to listen. You want to request a huge credit limit increase. Now you might be thinking, oh, I don't need that much cash, but guess what? Even if you don't need that much cash, it's a lot better to have it so that when you need it, you can use it. I'm not asking you to indebt yourself. I'm not asking you to sort of harden yourself and burden yourself with debt. No, I'm saying here is that whether you apply for a $5,000 credit limit increase or a $50,000 credit limit increase, the hard pull is the same. Okay, if there is going to be a hard pull, you're going to get the hard pull anyway. So you might as well just get a big enchilada. Okay, so you want to apply, because what's going to happen here is that if you ask for $50,000, Navy Fed might come and counter that request by saying, listen, we can't approve you for $50,000, but we will approve you for $30,000 or $20,000, and that's what you want, right? It's kind of similar to the game we were playing back in the days when people still play that game anyway. When you go to a job interview and they ask you what is your salary, what is your ideal salary? You know they're not paying you; they will never pay you $100,000, but you still say it anyway, because you know in the negotiation rounds, you will get a nice mid-part, a nice ballpark that will satisfy both parties. It's the same thing you need to apply when it comes to credit limit increase, okay? And a big credit limit increase makes strategic sense when you're contemplating a big purchase, when you want to do a balance transfer. Let's say you want to do credit card debt consolidation. You have maybe multiple users on the card in your family, right? So you have co-signers, you have authorized users, all that kind of stuff. If you come from a big family like mine, it's kind of cool to consolidate everything, okay? And if you have a big credit card, a Navy Fed credit card with a big limit, you can actually take care of the budget consolidation tools. You can take advantage of those tools to sort of monitor your family spending. If you're contemplating a big travel, that's kind of cool too, because remember, there is no annual fee on any NFCU credit card. So if you're traveling, that's kind of cool, right? There is no balance transfer fee. There's no foreign transaction fee. This is really good. So we love that. So hack number one, you want to request a big credit limit increase. Hack number two, folks, you want to time your credit limit increase. What I'm trying to say here is that when we speak about Navy Fed, you need to wait a minimum of 3 months before applying for a credit limit increase. You should also wait a minimum of 180 days, that's 6 months, in between applying for increases. So you want to be very strategic here, right? You need to think about timing. Do not apply for credit in the meantime. Let's say you got approved 3 months ago or 5 months ago. Well, I want you to sit around and just wait. Go binge watch Netflix and just wait, right? Because you really want to be very strategic here and only ask for a credit limit increase when you need it, when it makes strategic sense, not only for your personal expenditures, but also what? Your credit history. Because sometimes it's kind of cool to have a higher limit, because what will happen here is that if you have a higher limit, your credit utilization ratio will go down, your CUR, right? And in the meantime, while you're timing your CLI, your credit limit increase, I want you to lower your DTI considerably. You want to work on your DTI. What is DTI? I told you before. You forgot, right? DTI stands for debt to income ratio. So I was taking the example when I was telling you that let's say you're making 10 grand and you're servicing your debt up to $3,500, and that will create a DTI ratio of 35%. So there are several ways you can actually lower your DTI. You can increase your income, you can lower your expenses, you can work on extinguishing your debt, you can consolidate your debt. And one thing you also want to do when it comes to timing your credit limit increase is to look for offers. If there is a nice offer from NFCU itself, go ahead and apply. Okay, this is important because that way you're not risking a hard pull. Because the whole idea, the whole game we're playing here is that you want to have a Navy Fed credit limit increase, right? But you want to have it without affecting your credit score. This is why you want to focus on the soft pull, not the hard pull. Okay, and so when we have a conversation in general about timing your CLI, timing your credit limit increase, please remember that you need to lower your debt to income ratio. Okay, and there are a couple of ways you can do this. Besides increasing your income and lowering your expenses, you can also look into loan forgiveness, even though there are some implications that I can't go into details here about. But yeah, you can also control your non-essential spending, right? You can pay off the high interest debts through consolidation, and you can find a source of extra gigs, extra side income sources. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, folks, to another session of the Awesome Sweetie Kiwi Show. We are still having a conversation today about Navy Federal credit limit increases, and I'm giving you the top 5 hacks that work no matter what. Hack number 1, you want to request a big credit limit increase. Hack number 2, you want to time your credit limit increase. Hack number 3, you want to be aware of the maximum limits around your cards, and you want to play around those limits strategically. Let me explain. The maximum limit you can have with an NFCU across all cards ranges from $175,000 to $250,000. We've seen cases where they went a little bit above, but this is very rare. So here is the maximum limit for NFCU cards. You can see on the screen. So we have the flagship Visa. The maximum limit ranges from $75K to $150K. The platinum, $50K to $75K. The gold rewards, $60K to $80K. The cash rewards, $65K to $85K. And knowing the maximum limit helps you know how further up you could be approved for. And this is very important. So if you already, because think about it, if you are already close to the limit, you want to consider upgrading, for example, to the flagship. Let's say you currently have a gold rewards and you want to, and you know you probably have a limit of $75K, consider upgrading to a flagship. one thing you need to think about is that when you submit a request for a credit limit increase, your card issuer, in this case Navy Fed, they might ask for your annual income or monthly housing payments. Okay, and they can use that information to help evaluate your risk as a borrower. This is one of the reasons why I was just telling you earlier, if you are aware of the maximum limit, you have to make a decision whether or not it is worth it at this particular moment to attempt that request, or it's just better just to sit around and just again go binge watch some Netflix movies and come back 3 months down the road or 6 months later and reapply. Because at the end of the day, there is only one of three scenarios that will happen when you apply. Either NFCU will agree to your credit limit increase request, they will counteroffer with a credit limit increase for a lesser amount, or they will just outright deny your request for a credit limit increase. Hack number 4, folks. You want to be on the lookout for NFCU offers. And there are several ways to do this. First of all, you want to check your NFCU account dashboard periodically for offers. Now, I'm assuming that you are already a Navy Fed member, right? So if you are a member, if you're a customer, you want to go to your account dashboard and you should be seeing your current offer, your current offers, if any, on the dashboard. So you want to check that section periodically. And this is kind of cool because with this strategy, you're not risking anything. They're not doing a hard pull because the original offer is coming from them. So they have already done the soft pull. They have already done the analysis, and they know that you are a good candidate for the card they're offering you. The second thing you want to do in terms of looking out for NFCU offers is to call customer service. I've spoken about this before. It's important. You want to call NFCU customer service and inquire over the phone. And don't worry, after midnight, they are still around, okay? Not the credit team, but you have customer service, okay? And I'm not asking you to apply the so-called midnight hack. No, you call them up and you want to make sure you have a few pieces of data ready. You want to have your address and social security number. They must already have that if you are a client of theirs. You need to update them on your current employment status. You need to talk about your total monthly and annual gross income, your monthly mortgage or rental payments, the amount of requested credit limit increase. And again, the more prepared you are, the better. Okay. You also want to periodically check your mailbox for mail-in offers, because NFCU, they will send you offers either electronically or through snail mail. Now, not everybody is I would say comfortable nowadays with electronic conversations, electronic submissions, electronic documents. So Navy Fed is still in certain parts of the country, and for certain customers, mailing things like statements, offers, and so on and so forth. You also want to wait for automatic credit card limit increases from NFCU. Yeah. I mean, this strategy means you just wait around and just sit. Because NFCU, they constantly review your account. They constantly look for the little things that are going on, either positively or negatively with your account. So at the right time, when their algorithm and when their credit team deems you worthy of a credit limit increase, they'll increase you automatically. So you might want to wait for that too. That's kind of cool as well. Hack number 5, folks. You want to apply after receiving a windfall. Yes, what are we talking about when we speak about a windfall? A windfall is money. It's just a lot of moolah, a lot of money that just unexpectedly happens to come into your life. Isn't that wonderful? I love that. I need a windfall, don't you? So this could be a significant pay raise at work. It could be a bonus, a year-end bonus, or quarterly, or a biannual bonus. It could be a new job that pays significantly well. It could be an inheritance. It could be a small lotto win. I mean, this can be a big lotto win, because if you have a big lotto win, you wouldn't need to have a credit card or a credit limit increase from Navy Fed anyway, right? Would you? Right? So, and a windfall could also be a monetary gift from a wealthy relative. So the reason why you want to apply after receiving a windfall is because your DTI or your overall financial situation would have improved tremendously. Okay, and obviously I'm not saying this will work all the time, but listen, if you are moving from, let's say you have a net worth of 10 grand. Net worth is what? Your total assets minus your total liabilities, right? Let's say you moved from a net worth of 10 grand and all of a sudden you go to a quarter of a million or $500,000 net worth. You are by default in a different category. You can call it middle class or you can call it the new rich, whatever, depending on where you live in the country, but you are in a different category socially and economically. So this will actually paint a rosier picture of your financial situation. So if you apply it right after receiving a windfall, Navy Fed will look at your financial picture more satisfactorily than it would if you didn't have the windfall. So this is why you want to time your CLI. You want to time your credit limit increase, and you want to go for the big enchilada when you have those big windfalls in your life. Okay, and that way you get the limits you need. Not only, and you can get that without a hard pull, which is the whole essence of today's conversation, getting the limit increase you need without a hard pull. So this is pretty much it. All right, folks. This is it for today's conversation. I was talking to you about the Navy Federal credit limit increase process, and I was giving you the top 5 hacks that work no matter what. Hack number 1, you want to request a big credit limit increase. Number 2, you want to time your credit limit increase. Number 3, you want to be aware of the maximum limits on each card. Number 4, you want to be on the lookout for NFCU offers. And number 5, last but not the least, you want to apply after receiving a windfall. Thank you so much for your attention, folks. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.